and good evening, kind listeners. I'm Silva. Welcome to the Fireside Mystery Theater as we present our season premiere here in the dark and decadent and oh so delicious Slipper Room here in New York City. Now, as we savor the first tastes of autumn, perhaps not today, but when we eventually do, we thought, what better way to return to you, dear audience, than with a gaggle of twisted tales that take us back to the origin of our deepest human fears. Our childhood fears, to put a fine point on it. As we prepared ourselves for this task, we asked a few folks to tell us what scared them most as children.
I never told anybody this before, but when I was a kid, about 5 or 6 years old, I would hear what sounded like a baby, an infant crying coming from up from the attic of my dad's house. But every time I would go up there, the crying would stop, but then start again as soon as I came back downstairs. There was no baby anywhere. My dad lived alone after he and my mom split, so I never figured out what or where exactly that sound came from. I've never liked to go up into any attic since then. If I do, I'm sure to have a panic attack.
See, my cousin had this pet tarantula. I was absolutely terrified of it. One time while he was visiting us, he brought the damn spider with him. And while he was playing with it, it escaped and crawled into my bedroom. They looked everywhere for it, but they couldn't find it. Not until the next morning, when I saw it crawling up the side of my bed, crawling towards me. I screamed until I was worse. I couldn't even move.
Back in the day, my parents used to take us to this amusement park. My family teased me because I was always too scared to go on the House of Horrors ride. So one day I decided to show all of them that I was a big kid, you know? Not afraid. Well, I was afraid, to be honest, but I gathered all of my courage and got on the ride. By myself. So what happened? See, I was going through this ride trying to confront all of my old fears as all of these animatronic goblins and monsters leapt out at my ride car. I was actually almost starting to enjoy the ride when suddenly a giant monster tree figure leans out to grab me, and the entire ride stops completely. There was this horrible, hideous monster tree with its claw-like branches reaching out for me, and I'm sitting there immobile and helpless. There was a mechanical failure. I must have sat there for at least 10 minutes before one of the ride operators came to get me. And we had to walk through the rest of the ride to get out, which was even more terrifying. Oh man, the nightmares I had after that. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I'm 37 years old. And I don't think I could ever go on that ride again.
Ooh. Act 2, Scene 1 of one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, The Winter's Tale. Queen Hermione asks her young son, the boy Prince Mamilius, "What wisdom stirs amongst you? Come, sir, now. I am for you again. Pray you sit by us, and tells a tale. Merry or sad shalt be? As merry as you will. A sad tale's best for winter. I have one of sprites and goblins. Let's have that, good sir. Come on, sit down. Come on and do your best to fright me with your sprites. You're powerful at it. There was a man. Nay, come sit down. Come then on. Dwelt by a churchyard. I will tell it softly. Yond crickets shall not hear it. But that's as far as the young prince gets in his story. For before he can finish his eerie tale, Mamilius is taken away from his mother as she is made prisoner of her husband, King Leontes. The boy dies soon afterward. It does make one wonder, what was the rest of Mamilius's story? Was it a common story known to Shakespeare and his contemporaries of sprites and goblins? Or does this child have an eerie premonition of tragedy to come? Perhaps it is simply a reminder that often the most chilling parts of a story are the ingredients that the teller of tale decides to leave out, the parts left to our imagination. Muse on this as we begin tonight's first tale, a peculiar probing into prepubescent paranoia we like to call a scary story for young listeners. What day is today again, Des?
Thursday.
I'm bored. When is your Bob coming to pick you up?
2 weeks. I'm counting the days.
Oh, well, my parents haven't said where they're getting me yet. Grandma and Grandpa are all right, I guess. But what is there to do around here?
Well, this is the 3rd garage sale we've been to today.
What else is there to do around here? There's no mini golf, no candy stores.
No swimming pools, not even a playground.
Just garage sales. What a drag, man. No toys, no games for sale, just a bunch of garbage.
The garage sales back home are much better. I found Operation, the Wacky Doctors game, for 50 cents once. I still have it.
Oh, you should have brought it with you. Oh, we have it, Grandma and Grandpa's is Checkers. And Tiddlywinks.
Yeah, blah.
It's 1975, for crying out loud. Why can't they get a TV already?
They hate TV. It's just radio, radio, radio.
Ha! Ah, look at this dumb thing.
Hey, Sammy, if you think that thing is so dumb, that means you're probably not interested in buying it.
Oh, Mr. Peavy, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to call this thing dumb.
No, you're quite right. That thing is dumb. That's why I'm trying to get rid of it. You be a good lad and rest that dumb thing over there on the ping pong table next to that box of old records.
Old records? Oh, I didn't see those.
I got a whole box of them over there. All kinds of stuff. In fact, I'll tell you what. I've been having trouble unloading those sons of guns. So take as many of them old records as you want. For free.
Really?
You be doing me a favor. Go ahead, kids. Have at it.
Yeah,
Right.
all right. Oh, great. Let's see what we have here.
Oh, goody.
Oh, man. So much dust on these things.
Oh, I hope there's some Donnie and Marie in there.
Or some Kiss. Ah! Oh, okay. Let's see.
Oh, Black Lawrence Welk. Ugh.
Mantovani. Johnny Mathis. Engelbert Humperdinck. Oh, another Lawrence Welk. Ew.
Hey, I'll have you know that Engelbert is a world-class entertainer.
No wonder he wants to get rid of these.
Oh, wait.
What?
Look.
Scary stories for young listeners.
Now this is cool. Now we're talking.
Oh, how scary could a record be?
Oh, I've heard all about this one. It's for kids, but it's supposed to be super scary.
Tell you there's some good Perry Como in there, too.
Oh, I don't know, Sammy.
Oh, it is all right. This is the same record that frightened that kid to death.
Oh, yeah, just like Mikey likes that died from eating Pop Rocks, sure.
Mr. Peavy, I'm going to take this record. Thanks.
Oh, I just hope you keep it.
What do you mean?
Maybe because it's been scratched up or something, but it's been 4 times I've sold that record, and 4 times it's been returned to me.
You see, cuz, I told you. It's that scary. I've always wanted to hear this one.
All right. Now I'm getting a little curious. Oh, let's take it to Grandma and Grandpa's house and listen to it on their record player.
Yeah, let's listen. In the basement, in the dark. Look, here comes Grandpa. Let me ask him. Grandpa? Grandpa?
Hey there, Sammy.
Could you please take us to the movies tonight?
Still thinking about it. It depends on what time I get back.
Oh, I hope we can. We're so bored.
Bored? How can you be bored? You should be happy that it's summer vacation.
If we go to the movies tonight, I really want to see Jaws.
I don't know about that one, Sammy. That might be too much for kids your age. There's a Disney film also playing at the movie house called The Apple Dumpling Gang. That's a little more our speed. How does that sound?
The Apple Dumpling Gang? But all of our friends have seen Jaws, and they said that it's like the coolest movie.
I'm really not interested in what they said, Sammy.
Hey, it beats sitting at home. I'd see that, Grandpa.
Where are you off to, Grandpa?
I have to go into town to the store to get a few things for supper, and while I'm out, I decided I'd probably pick up a new battery for Grandma's hearing aid.
So she can't hear anything right now without her hearing aid?
That's right, so be mindful of that when you go inside. Hey, what's that you got in your hand there, Sammy?
It's scary stories for young listeners.
Found it at Mr. Peavy's garage sale today.
Gonna put that on the record player, I take it?
If that's all right with you.
No, go right ahead. Just don't get too scared.
Gotta get some kind of excitement around here.
Okay, you thrill seekers. Now I'll be back in a little while, and we'll see about going to the movies after dinner.
Oh, yay!
See you later, Grandpa.
Look, there she is.
Check this out. She can't hear a thing. Hey, Grandma.
She didn't even turn around.
Sammy? Desi? Is that you? Oh, hi, kids.
Hi, Grandma.
Sorry, I can't hear you two. I am deaf without my hearing aid. I'm just making dinner here. Your favorite meatloaf.
Oh, yeah, Grandma. I love your meatloaf. It tastes like cardboard.
Sorry, my dear boy, I can't hear you. I also have some custard pie in the oven for you.
Oh, okay, Grandma. I'm going to go upstairs and pee in Grandpa's sock drawer.
Okay, kids. Dinner will be ready in about an hour, so don't wander away too far.
Okay, Des, let's go down to the basement. Okay, Grandma. Nice smelling you. Close the door behind you, Desi.
Okay.
We have to make everything just right for this. First, let me take out the record from the sleeve.
Oh, no. Look how scratched up it looks. That thing is going to skip like crazy.
I bet it'll be all right. Plus, the scratchier, the better, and creepier it'll be.
I guess.
You're not getting scared already, are you?
Not me. It's just a little creepy down here in the basement, that's all.
Jeez, you're such a girl. Maybe this will be too much for you.
No way. I already told you I'm not scared, you dope.
I'll give you one more chance to turn back. You sure?
Just put the record on the turntable already, dummy.
Okay. I just need you to do one thing for me.
What?
When I put the needle on the record, I need you to turn out the lights.
Oh, that's so stupid.
We need to have the full effect, Desi. Do it. Do it.
Okay. There. Sammy? Where are you?
Scary Stories for Young Listeners. Volume 1. Welcome, friends. My name is Conroy Kelligan.
Oh, this is lame.
I see that you have turned out the lights to set the mood just right. Very good. Now, I ask you, why do we like to be scared? Why is it so much fun? What makes you shiver? Or your spine tingle with uncontrollable fear? Is it the dark? Loud noises? Or is it the sensation the cold and clammy hand is feeling around in the dark, searching for something? Something warm to grab onto. Something that feels like you? But I digress. What I really want to do is tell you a story. The story of a sailor named Garrick. Garrick was a gigantic and rugged man with deep-set eyes as black as ebony. His scarred and weather-beaten face was blunt evidence of a hard life lived at sea. One dark day, Garrick set sail on a fishing voyage deep into the frigid waters of the Atlantic on a vessel dubbed the Scorpius. 2 weeks into the voyage, everyone aboard the ship was infected with a terrible strain of typhoid fever. The crew all perished from the horrible disease, all except for Garrick. Garrick somehow survived the plague, but the disease seemed to twist and poison his brain. As the sole survivor of the Scorpius, Garrick paced up and down the deck for hours at a time, trying to stop himself from...
I'm hungry. I must survive.
Garrick, maddened and depraved with hunger, did the only thing that he could do.
Such fingers and eyes. They look just like eggs.
After Garrick had eaten the last body part of the last crew member, he discovered two things. One, he could see at last that somehow the ship was nearing a port. And second, through his hunger, he had acquired a taste and ultimately a preference for human flesh. Before the ship could reach the port, Garrick dived overboard and he swam for the shore. That way he could elude the authorities and seek out fresh humans to devour. And to this day, he has never been captured. And who is to say how many homes he has silently crept into as the day turns to night? And how many men, women, and children whose flesh he has dined upon with his rotted green teeth? They say, in fact, that it is the flesh of children that he craves the most. Very much like the young boy and girl who are presently listening to this album. The ones who so kindly turned out the lights. Did you hear that? switch. Can you get to that light switch in time? Can you? Because I think he's creeping up behind you right now. With those cold, clammy hands.
Jesse, where are you? Jesse! Grandma! Help! Open the door, please! Please! I think he's got Jesse!
I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Okay, all them carrots are washed. Won't be long now till supper. Where did those kids go anyway? I wonder.
But as fast as they ran, they could not reach the light switch in time. And they were never seen again, 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 never seen.
And now a word from one of our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Jody.
And I'm Joe.
And we're the Borelli Brothers.
We are.
Did you read about us in the papers lately?
About that tragedy in Parsippany?
4 kids were hurt real bad.
When our bouncy castle exploded? Boom! I mean, those kids went flying through the air.
All because their parents insisted on renting an inferior foreign-made product.
And not a bona fide Borelli Brothers bouncy castle.
Borelli Brothers bouncy castles are made here in the U.S. of America, fella.
And they don't explode.
Or your money back.
Borelli bouncy castles have more bounce per ounce than all the other leading brands. And they are tested thoroughly for safety so your kids can bounce their way to happiness and joy at your next birthday, bazaar, or bar mitzvah.
Our bouncy castles are state-of-the-art, complete and updated with the latest in bouncy castle satellite technology.
And you can't beat our prices.
We give you more bounce for your buck.
We make bouncy castles very seriously, folks.
That's all that we do for 6 generations.
Borelli bouncy castles. That's all they do.
What time is it, kids?
Borelli
Bouncy time!
To harmonize with tonight's theme, we've selected this chilling old chestnut called Genies Afraid of the Dark, written by Ms. Dolly Parton and sung for you tonight by Ms. Martina DaSilva.
Running into our bedroom almost every night. Her soft little face would be wet from her tears, and her little heart pounding with fright. She'd hold out her arms, she'd climb in beside us. Her small voice, we'd hear her remark, "Mommy, Genie's afraid of the dark." One day in the summer, we took some flowers in place of some old family graves. Genie said, "Mommy, ain't it dark in the ground? Oh, Daddy, I'd be so afraid." Then she looked up at her daddy and me and said something that broke both our hearts. She she said, when I die, please don't bury me, 'cause Jeannie's afraid of the dark. Now, Jeannie was always afraid of the dark, and we never could understand why. 'Cause we looked after Jeannie with the very best of care, because Jeannie was our only child. Perhaps it was death that she was afraid of, 'cause it took her one dark, stormy night. I think we always knew that we'd never see Jeannie grown, 'cause it seemed she was destined to die. But on Jeannie's grave, we placed an eternal flame that glows and never loses its spark. And on the darkest night, there's always a light, 'cause Jeannie's afraid of the dark.
Martina DaSilva. So that concludes Act 1 of our program. Now would be a good time to visit the wonderful, beautiful bartenders of the Slipper Room for a delicious adult beverage, if you so desire. Judging by what we have in store for you in the second act, you may want to ask for a particularly strong one and tip accordingly. Welcome back, my dears. I do hope we weren't too rough with you during the first act. From this point going forward, we'll be sure to handle you all with kid gloves. Once again, we ask, what scared you as a child? Clowns? Vampires? Those damn flying monkeys from The Wizard of Oz? Things that you imagined were hiding beneath your bed or under the stairs. Maybe your ultimate fear was of being abandoned or kidnapped, being lost without a trace.
I remember a time when I was a kid. I was being a total brat and driving everyone insane with my antics. I was watching TV alone in the family room when the phone rang. When I answered, a muffled voice came out of the receiver. The voice addressed me by my full name. It said, "Look out, 'cause one day, and it might be today, it might be tomorrow or some other day, but I am coming to get you and take you away." Then there was a sharp click on the other end. It wasn't until I was a teenager that I learned that it was my aunt who had conspired with my mom to prank scare me into behaving better. But for a very long time after that, every time I left my house, I was terrified that would be the day that somebody would come and take me away.
My older brother was a total sadist to me growing up. My God, he always liked to scare me, which, I mean, it wasn't really that hard to do. But without a doubt, the worst thing that he ever did, he would creep up to my bedroom door right before I fell asleep, and he would shove through the crack the head and the upper torso of this horrific, just grotesque ventriloquist dummy. I remember the moonlight. It was like it glistened off its eyes. These like blue, just penetrating eyes. They would go back and forth in its little head, and he'd make its lips move up and down, and he'd have it say like, "Good night, James." But I can't say that I actually ever caught my brother doing this. I mean, I never saw him holding the dummy because I was lying in bed paralyzed with fear. And honestly, to this very day, my brother has never owned up to it. But I mean, it had to be him, right?
As a kid, I was scared of everything. You name it, I was a living warehouse of childhood fears and phobias, but hands down, the most traumatic thing for me was that time I visited my grandmother's house near Jacksonville, Florida. No, I'm not saying that my grandmother or her house were scary. What happened was I was actually very excited to be there, and Grandma was awesome and everything. And on the second day I was there, it was really extra hot out. So I put on my bathing suit and headed out to the pool in my grandmother's backyard. I remember I was running and climbed on the diving board, all ready to jump in, when just in time I noticed that alligator swirling at the bottom of the pool. The thing had to be at least 8 feet long. It must have crawled out of the canal nearby and slithered in my grandma's pool the night before. I screamed, but I was so paralyzed with fear that I couldn't get off the diving board. My grandmother came and rescued me, and a wrangler was called and got the gator out of the pool. That was frightening too. But I'll never forget that moment for as long as I live, when I was a split second away from being underwater and at the mercy of a real monster.
Ernest Hemingway once called fear a child's vice. But how many of us can honestly say that if and when, at the right time and the right place, when we are the most alone and the most vulnerable, that we cannot relapse into that scared little child, just shivering and shielding our eyes from that most overwhelming and primal terror? Our next radio drama, A Rose for Mary, was written especially for our Fireside Mystery Theater by the fabulous Mrs. Rebecca Graves. Now, Rebecca herself told me that she penned this particular tale as an exercise to help her overcome some of her own childhood fears. Thankfully, she has lived to tell the tale.
Are you feeling better?
I'm still feeling a little tired. This week just hasn't been great for me in the sleep department.
I know. We still don't have to go, you know. We can turn around right now and just go home.
No, I'll be fine. Darcy probably heard the car door shut anyway. Let's go. Okay, here we go.
Put that pretty smile on.
Hi, you two. Paul and I were wondering if you were going to make it. Come on in.
Yes, it's my fault. We're running a little late. It's been a long week.
Well, if you join Paul in the living room, I'll fix you up a drink.
Oh, thanks, Darcy. And thanks for having us over. It's been too long since we've done this.
Hey, you two. Hey, what's your poison?
I've got it.
I'm not sure. I'm in the mood for wine, I think.
You got it. Merlot, okay?
We actually brought a bottle of Merlot as a gift. We didn't want to show up empty-handed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I saw this at the 7-Eleven, right next to the windshield wiper fluid. Oh, well, glad to see you've kept those expensive tastes, James.
Oh, shut it, Paul. That's very thoughtful of you two. Thanks so much. Let me put a corkscrew to this baby, and let's you and I have a sip, Miss Rose.
Okay.
And what about you, James? Want to join Paul with a little bourbon?
Well, I've never been known to turn down whiskey, and I'm not going to start now.
Spoken like a true man. I was starting to worry.
Okay, 1 Merlot and 1 bourbon coming right up.
Oh, Darcy. Oh, that's a healthy pour.
Oh, looks like you needed it, dear. You're looking a little sallow. Are you feeling okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I just haven't been sleeping very well.
She gets a little anxious when she's stressed out. She starts imagining...
James, we're having a great time. I'm feeling better already just smelling that delicious food. Oh, Darcy, I swear no one spoils us as much as you do.
Yes, my Darcy has a way with an oven and a spatula. What do you call that magical dish you prepared for us tonight? Beef tornadoes?
It's pronounced tornado.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of that. How do you spell it?
Oh, you don't spell it, son. You eat it.
What movie is that line from?
Come on, you must know.
Yeah, the Breakfast Club.
No, man, come on. The other Molly Ringwald movie.
Guys, let's skip movie trivia for now. Let's all head into the dining room and have a tornado of beef tornado. Hurry up while they're still warm.
Pretty in Pink?
Hopeless.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
Were you conscious during the 80s at all? Do you even know who Reagan is?
Can I help you with anything?
Yes. Drink your wine and relax. That's all the help I need. Oh, it looks like you already need a refill. Paul, do you mind?
Certainly. Rose, you must have had a rough week. I've never known you to drink more than 1 glass of wine. Are you finally revoked your membership card to Lightweight Watchers?
Well, maybe I should, Paul, since you make the lush life look so appealing. How many of those have you had so far? Well, looks like the party may have started a little earlier for you.
Come on, you two. Stop teasing each other.
Well, if you really want to run with the pack, how about a little bourbon?
Okay, then. Pour me some.
I was just kidding, kiddo.
No. Some bourbon sounds great, actually.
I'm stunned.
Honey, maybe you should take it easy.
No, James. Bourbon sounds like just what the doctor ordered.
Okay, Paul. You heard the woman.
Yeow! Looks like we have ourselves a convert.
Cheers.
Honey, maybe just sip on that a little more slowly. That's quite a swig to take before.
Okay, everyone, dinner is served.
Ooh, my, that looks fantastic.
Rose, I see you traded in your wine.
I did. Had to show your husband what a determined woman is capable of.
Oh, Paul, you weren't goading her again, were you?
Oh, come on, honey. It's what I do. But I didn't think she'd actually accept this time. I mean, this is my good bourbon, after all.
Well, we better start eating soon before all that booze hits Rose's empty stomach.
Oh, I'll be fine. But dinner does look delicious. Let's dig in.
So, apologies if I'm bringing up a touchy subject, but what happened this week, Rose?
Oh, well, nothing crazy. I've just been stressed out at work.
But that's not the stress that keeps you up at night.
It's a bit embarrassing, actually.
Oh, come on. How bad can it be? I mean, look at the present company. We're all...
Paul, let her speak.
Well, I've always had an overactive imagination. I can't watch scary movies with James, even though he loves them so much. They just get in my head. Recently, I've had a thing with mirrors.
You don't have to talk about this, sweetheart.
No, I think it will be good for me to talk about it. Maybe it'll help.
Is this going to be a downer? Sounds like we're all going to need another round if you're going to be telling us another depressing story.
Paul, lay off.
Oh, come on. You know I'm kidding, right? You don't take it personally, do you, Rosie?
No, of course not. I know you're just trying to get attention because you're like a child. But besides, I could use another round anyway.
Rosie? When did you start calling her that anyway?
I've always called her that. Our Rosie, right, Jim?
James, I'm fine. You're driving us home tonight anyway.
Okay, one more round coming up.
None for me, Darcy. Apparently I'm playing chauffeur tonight.
Anyway, as I was saying, mirrors, they've just been bothering me lately. I've always found mirrors in a dark room to be so creepy, but it's been worse than ever for some reason this past week. I think maybe it goes back to the time I played Bloody Mary when I was...
What was that?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Sorry. I just got a little tingle in my spine, a little chill. I just thought of it. Playing Bloody Mary, that is.
Oh, I've heard of that game. I never played it. I mean, it was always sort of a girls' game when I was growing up.
Oh, please, Paul. I remember playing that game when I was a girl. My sister played it with her friends in college, and she had me do it once when she was home one summer. But I always thought it was silly. Not to diminish your phobia, dear. Most of us carry some sort of lingering fears we experienced as children.
I used to play it with some girls from my neighborhood. At the time, I don't remember being that scared. We crammed ourselves into a little hall bathroom and shut the door ever so tight, so it was pitch black. One of the girls started spinning while chanting, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary," which you do 3 times. We were trying to see the face in the mirror, the face of Bloody Mary.
And did you see anything?
I didn't know, but one of the girls claimed she saw a green glow coming from the middle of the mirror. Well, that was all we needed to hear before we all started screaming and ran out of the bathroom. At the time, it was quite funny. Like I said, I don't remember being scared. We were all laughing and then went to ride our bikes around the block.
Okay, someone thought they saw a bit of a green glow. Well, that doesn't really sound that scary. And this is what has you shaken after all these years, Rosie?
That wasn't the last time.
That's different from the game that I played.
At the risk of giving myself new nightmares? How was yours different? I mean, let's hear your version, then I'll tell you about the time that really gave me a fright.
Rose, do you really want to hear this?
Oh, don't worry. Mine is silly, like I said. My sister's version goes like this. You wait until dark and then turn off all the lights in your house. You take a candle and a hand mirror to the foot of your stairs and then start to walk backward up the stairs.
Well, that must be the dyslexic version of the game.
Paul? Shh. So, you're holding a candle and the hand mirror in front of you and you chant, "On this dark night, look in the glass. Your future husband's face will pass."
Did you see me, honey? Did you see your beloved's handsome face in the mirror?
Seeing your mug in the mirror would be enough to scare me to death.
This really is turning into a scary story. Imagine Paul's face as it is now looking back at you when you're 12 years old.
Oh, God, I know. I would probably think, who would marry such an old man?
I would have thought I was seeing the Grim Reaper if I saw James's face in the mirror during Bloody Mary.
Okay, very funny. Now we're moving on to age jokes.
Well, that's part of the game. If you see a skull or the Grim Reaper in the mirror, that means you die before you marry.
So what did you see when you played?
I saw the stairs behind me in a dark hallway. It scared me, even though there was nothing there.
But that's sometimes scarier. What your mind comes up with. That's my problem.
What did your sister claim to have seen?
Oh, At the time, she swore up and down she saw the face of a handsome young man who looked just like Rock Hudson.
Well, that explains a lot about her current husband.
Oh, Paul. That's not fair. Bill is a Renaissance man. Just because he knows how to boil water doesn't mean he's girly or whatever you say about him. I would love if you helped me in the kitchen like he does.
So, what's for dessert?
Subtle, Jim.
Okay. Hint taken. Darcy, you want me to go cut the cake? It's not boiling water, but I think I can manage it if I use my hunting knife. Gotta maintain some masculinity here.
Very nice. Be a good boy and drag your knuckles out to the kitchen. Anyone up for another round?
I am.
Rose!
What? I have a personal driver tonight, remember?
You know what? I'll join you in the bourbon, Rose.
Ladies, I'm getting low on my good bourbon. Maybe we should switch. I have a few of those little airplane bottles around here somewhere.
Go and cut the cake, Paul.
So what's that Bloody Mary story that scared you so much, Rose? You've never told me, even though I know it keeps you up sometimes.
Well, the version I heard after that first time I played is once you chant Bloody Mary 3 times while spinning around, you look into the mirror. If your soul is not pure, she will appear and then climb out of the mirror, kill you, then take your soul with her to the underworld.
Well, that's kind of dark, don't you think?
Seriously, Rose, where did you hear that?
I was at a sleepover in middle school.
And here we go. Red velvet cake is now served.
Oh, honey, there's frosting everywhere.
Real men don't cut cake. We eat it with our paws. Right, Jim?
Leave me out of this one, Paul.
It does taste delicious, even though it looks like something from the butcher's counter.
Paul, you missed what Rose was telling us about Bloody Mary and why it scares her so much.
Oh, I heard a bit of it while I was in the kitchen. Some biblical, make sure your soul is pure, mumbo-jumbo. Or else Bloody Mary will get you.
Yeah, it's something out of Revelations.
So, what happened?
There were about 8 of us together at a sleepover, like I said. Instead of a bathroom, we shut ourselves into a walk-in closet with a full-length mirror on the back of the door. The girl whose house it was, Sally Black was her name, she was the one who said we should do it. So she turned around 3 times, and as she turned, she chanted, Bloody Mary. When she stopped, one of the girls behind me screamed and said she had been hit in the face.
Oh, well, 8 girls in a closet, that's no surprise.
Well, of course, now that seems logical, but when we turned on the light, she had 5 scratches down the side of her face. It was terrifying. I made Sally cover up the wall mirror in her rec room where we had our sleeping bags, and it still took ages for me to fall asleep. I keep imagining Bloody Mary climbing out of the mirror to claim our impure adolescent souls.
What do you say we try to summon the old girl tonight?
Paul, you just don't know when to quit.
Seriously, I don't think that's a good idea. Not that I think anything bad will happen, but...
I'd actually usually say no, but... Well, this bourbon is doing its job, so I'm feeling fearless. Besides, who better than to conquer fears with than our dear friends?
Atta girl, Rosie. But first, we should top off these glasses before we go into the closet. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with being in the closet. I mean, like your sister's husband, for example.
Rose, don't let Paul bully you into doing this.
He can bully all he wants. Bottom line is, he doesn't have to take her home. She'll be waking me up every hour tonight in a panic, I bet.
Oh, at this rate, I'll probably pass out and sleep through the night. Come on, what's the harm?
Okay, if we're getting serious about this, where should we go? How about the master bath? I don't think all of us could fit in the hall bath down here.
Oh, fine, let's go. If Bloody Mary breaks through our bathroom mirror, at least I'll finally have an excuse to get it renovated. And you'll have to pay for it, Paul, since this was your idea.
Honey, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. I just tripped is all. This bourbon is really kicking in.
Ooh, I felt something. Did you? Bloody Mary is already toying with us.
If she pushes me down these stairs, I hope I wake up to a new husband.
Oh, like Montgomery Clift. You and your sister could have a matching set. Rockin' money.
If we're gonna do this, let's do it. It's getting late, and at this rate, I'll be carrying Rose to the car.
Okay, to the right.
Oh, I love your peach tile, Darcy.
Oh, thank you, but I hate it. That will be the first thing to go when I get my renovation, right, Paul?
Peachy. So, how does this work, ladies?
We need to turn off the lights, right?
Yes. And no funny business, Paul.
Okay, so who's going to do it?
I will. Spin 3 times and chant Bloody Mary?
Yes. You repeat Bloody Mary 3 times.
Shh. Silence, please. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
I don't see anything.
Neither do I.
Oh, okay. Well, let's all spin and chant together.
How are we going to all spin at once? Somebody's bound to get elbowed in the eye.
Just spread out a little.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bloody
Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary.
Oh, I see something.
No, you don't, you liar.
No, I do. It's lots of dollar signs. Peach dollar signs.
Oh, very funny.
Oh my God, James, hit the lights!
Rose! Are you laughing? You scared the daylights out of us!
Really? Are you okay?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. I just got dizzy and my foot caught the bath mat.
Oh, Christ, I thought Bloody Mary was coming for all of us.
That ended up being really scary, Rose. You could have broken your neck.
Oh, I'm fine. I got you guys good.
Oh, please, you didn't plan to do that.
Well, it worked out anyway. Oh, I needed a good laugh. This was great therapy for my Bloody Mary phobia.
I think it's time to go home before you do any more damage to yourself, Rose.
Jimmy, my boy, I think you are right. Darcy and I are not insured for this sort of thing.
I will say this was a fun evening, despite the theatrics.
Well, I'm just going to grab my purse and we can be on our way.
Let me help you there, Rose.
I'll wrap up some cake for you two to take home. Hopefully Paul didn't butcher the entire thing.
Oh, thank you for a lovely evening, Darcy. Those beef tornadoes were something.
Oh, dear. Paul has you mispronouncing things, too.
Rosie, are you really okay? You gave me a scare up there.
Oh, I'm fine, Paul. Why do you care all of a sudden?
Shh, I don't want them to hear.
Hear what? It's over between us. I can't do these dinners anymore, pretending like nothing happened. And stop calling me Rosie.
Rose? Are you ready to go? Darcy fixed us up some red velvet cake to go.
It looks like roadkill thanks to Paul's excellent cake cutting skills, but it should taste fine.
Yes, all ready. I couldn't find my purse. I thought I left it in the living room, but I took it into the dining room for some reason.
This should be a fun drive home. Let's go, sweetheart.
Hey, safe drive home, you crazy kids.
Thanks again. We should do this again soon.
Bye.
And take care of our Rosie, Jimmy. She's the only one we got.
Don't worry, pal. She's in good hands. Good night. Paul was in rare form tonight.
Was he?
Yeah. $10 says that he and Darcy are having quite the argument right this minute.
Well, she seemed at most mildly annoyed with him.
Nope. He's in the doghouse. Trust me, I'm pretty good at reading people, especially when couples are having a difficult time. And can you tell me what's gotten into you? I've never known you to drink this much.
Oh, can you please give me a break, James? I need to let loose every once in a while. You know, you can be a little overprotective sometimes.
It comes from a good place. Besides, you almost knocked yourself out twice tonight with that Bloody Mary business.
I think I'm going to do it again when we get home.
Do what? Trip your way up the stairs?
No. Play Bloody Mary. I've been too much in my head lately. I think I should do it on my own to show myself there really is nothing to be scared of.
Oh, boy. I really don't think that's
You'll be there to rescue me, so I'll be fine.
Rose, I'm not going to argue with you about this. Just make sure you don't make yourself dizzy again. And if you wake me up even once because you're scared, I'm sending myself to the couch for some peace and quiet.
Oh, come on now, James. You're really overreacting.
Well, we're home now. Let's just get inside so you can conquer your fear again or whatever you think you're doing so we can go to bed.
Which bathroom should I do it in?
You are being ridiculous, Rose. I'm going to get ready for bed in our bathroom. Use the hall one.
Wait, you won't wait outside of the door to make sure I'm okay?
Fine. Just do it already. I'm getting annoyed now.
Jeez, you're in such a huff. It'll just take me a minute. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, here goes. I'm not afraid now.
Honey, maybe you should reconsider this.
Bloody Mary.
We could do this tomorrow, you know.
Bloody Mary.
Rose, you better not wake me up tonight.
Bloody Mary.
We can actually do this together tomorrow.
James!
Rose! Rose, I can't get in! Rose! Rose, this isn't funny! Rose? Rosie? Rose? Rose!
So that's that girl, huh?
Yep, Mrs. Rose Beckerson.
Yeah, I've seen everything on this job, but this has got my mind in a pretzel.
Me too.
And a hysterical guy downstairs.
Yeah, the husband, James Beckerson. Al's questioning him right now. He swears he had nothing to do with her death.
Yeah, I believe him.
Yeah, and I'm already close to ruling him out, but I do think he may need a psych evaluation. He says he's absolutely certain what he heard the sound of glass shattering while his wife was in the bathroom.
Well, that only half makes sense. We're able to determine that she died in this bathroom at 12:05 a.m., and that there are little pieces of glass embedded in those deep claw marks all over her body. But the bathroom mirror and anything else made of glass that we found in here is completely unbroken and intact. Yeah, well, like I said, it just puts my mind in a pretzel.
And now a word from one of our sponsors.
Can you believe it? When I picked up Tolstoy from daycare today, there were all these creepy smudges all over his iPad.
I just threw up in my mouth a little. Why do you keep sending Tolstoy there? My daughter, Anais, is so much happier at Scuttleworth Carriage and Crib Playdate and Pre-Learning Center. It's so the bomb. Why bother to raise your family in Park Slope if you can't send your kids to the right places?
I know, but...
Why deprive Tolstoy of the proper cultural and aesthetic experiences that are available only at Scuttleworth Carriage and Crib Playdate and Pre-Learning Center?
Huh. What kind of programming do they have?
Well, every day they immerse the kids in culturally rich and important courses. DJing, a class called Yoga and Yoga, self-esteem building with artisanal blocks, followed by independent nap study.
Oh, cool. So they can just sleep when they feel ready to sleep.
Totes. They can curate their own nap curriculum.
That's so dope.
And they also have a full wine and coffee bar with Wi-Fi if I just want to chill downstairs while Anais is getting her pre-learn on.
Oh, that's so amazing!
Scuttleworth Carriage and Crib Playdate and Pre-Learning Center is right in the heart of Park Slope, Brooklyn. We cater to all of your child's many and excessive needs without a trace of irony. Call us today for a free brochure printed on 100% repurposed parchment. Scuttleworth Carriage and Crib Playdate and Pre-Learning Center, because you can afford everything else in Brooklyn.
For our final yarn, in honor of tonight's theme, we decided to reprise an audience favorite from last season, our adaptation of Ray Bradbury's classic tale of childhood fancy, fascination, and fear, The Black Ferris.
I remember many years ago when the carnival came to town like an October wind, like a dark bat flying over the cold, bones rattling in the night, mourning, sighing, whispering up the tense, the dark rain. It stayed on for a month in the gray, restless lake of October, and the black weather and increasing storms and leaden skies. It was during that third week of the carnival that I recall walking along the lake shore with my best friend, Hank. You couldn't be closer than we were. We even shared the same birthday, and we each had only celebrated 11 of them at that time.
I don't believe you, Hank.
Come on, Pete, and I'll show you.
We left our place by the shore and ran to the lonely carnival grounds. It had been raining. The tickets from the flaky black booths. The midway was all silent. All the gray tents hissing on the wind like gigantic prehistoric wings. At that time, normally ghastly lights would flash on. Voices would shout, music would go out over the lake, but now there was only a blind hunchback sitting on a black booth, gripping a cracked china cup from which he was drinking some perfumed brew. Hank drew me in and quickly found what he was looking for. The Black Ferris wheel rose like an immense light-bulbed constellation against the cloudy sky, silent.
See? There it is. Look.
I still don't believe what you said about it, Hank.
Oh, you just wait. I saw it happen. I don't know how, Pete, but it did. You know how carnivals are all... Well, they're funny.
Yeah.
Well, this one is even funnier.
What do you mean?
Oh, he's coming. Quick, let's hide here.
Where?
Well, just follow me.
Okay.
Now, duck down.
Okay.
There he is. You see him?
That creepy guy with the derby hat.
That's Mr. Cougar, the carnival man. Oh, shh, don't let him see us.
Mr. Cougar was a man of about 35,
dressed in sharp, bright clothes, a lapel carnation, his hair greased with oil. He shuffled past our hiding spot with a cocky strut. A brown derby was perched on his greasy head. I had actually seen him about town promoting the carnival, tipping that derby hat of his at people on the street from inside his shiny red Ford, tooting its horn. Our eyes followed Mr. Cougar as he approached the Black Ferris wheel. He nodded at the little blind hunchback and briefly muttered something we couldn't hear in the distance. The hunchback, despite his blindness, almost effortlessly escorted and locked Mr. Cougar into a black seat. He then jerked on a rusty lever and sent him whirling up into the ominous twilight sky.
You see? You noticed that?
What?
Look, dummy! The Ferris wheel! It's going the wrong way!
Big deal.
It's going backwards instead of forwards.
Big deal.
Just watch.
I soon witnessed one of the strangest sights I ever saw or ever would see. The Black Ferris wheel whirled exactly 25 times around, and then the blind hunchback put out his pale hands and halted the machinery. The Ferris wheel stopped, gently swaying, at a certain black seat. A 10-year-old boy then stepped out of that seat and walked off across the whispering carnival grounds and into the shadows.
Holy cow! Where's Mr. Cougar? Where did he go?
Who do you think that kid was that just got off the Ferris wheel, Pete?
That can't be.
Oh, yes, it can. Come on, quick. We gotta follow him.
Heavy rain began to fall. It began to pelt against the dying leaves of the giant chestnut trees by the ravine. The trees only provided temporary shelter for me and Hank, and we were soon drenched through and through. We'd followed the little boy that scurried from the Ferris wheel up through the town, down dark streets to Mrs. Foley's white mansion by the ravine. Now, through lighted windows, we could see inside Mrs. Foley's warm dining room. The strange little boy had quite a dinner prepared for him. He stuffed his face full of rich lamb chops and mashed potatoes. Mrs. Foley tinkled at a piano beside the dinner table.
I'm so wet. Like someone squirted me with a hose. How much longer we gotta wait?
Shh! I know his name. My mom told me about him the other day. She said, Hank, you hear about that little orphan boy moved in Mrs. Foley's? Well, his name is Joseph Pikes, and he just came to Mrs. Foley's one day about 2 weeks ago and said how he was an orphan, run away, and could he have something to eat? And him and Mrs. Foley been getting on like hot apple pie ever since. Well, that's what my mom said.
I don't know, Hank.
Pete, I didn't like the looks of him from the first. No, sir, I didn't. Oh, he looked mean.
I'm scared, Hank. I'm cold, and I don't know what this is all about.
Oh, well, gosh. For such a smart kid, you're so dumb sometimes. Don't you see? 3 weeks ago, the carnival came, and about the same time, this little old orphan shows up at Mrs. Foley's door.
Yeah?
Well, so Mrs. Foley's son died a long time ago one night, one winter, and she's never been the same. So here comes this little old orphan boy who butters her all around.
Ah.
Come on, follow me.
Hank, what are you doing?
Come on.
Why are you going up to Mrs. Foley's front door?
We gotta tell her.
You're crazy. Wait, stop. Hank, what are you doing, Hank?
Oh, my land, you poor dears. You're all wet. Come in. Oh, now what do you two boys want? You're Henry Walterson, aren't you?
Yes, you can call me Hank, ma'am. Oh, may we talk to you alone, Mrs. Foley?
We could see into the dining room. The strange little boy suddenly stopped his eating and looked right at us. My heart began to pound. Hank crept past her, shut the hall door, and whispered at her.
We gotta warn you about something, Mrs. Foley. It's about that boy that come to live with you, that orphan.
Well?
Ain't normal, ma'am.
Ain't is not a word. You mean is not.
Shh, Pete, let me tell her. He's from the carnival, you see, and he ain't... I mean, he is not a boy. He's a man. And he's planning on living here with you until he finds where your money is, and then he's going to run off with it some night, and people will look for him, but because they'll be looking for a little 10-year-old boy, they won't recognize him when he walks by a 35-year-old man, a man named Mr. Cougar.
What are you talking about, young ma'am?
The carnival and the Ferris wheel and this strange man, Mr. Cougar. The Ferris wheel going backward and making him younger. I don't know how. And him coming here as a boy, and you can't trust him because when he has your money, he's going to get on the Ferris wheel and it's going to go forward and he'll be 35 years old again and the boy will be gone forever. You understand what I'm trying to tell you, Mrs. Foley?
Good night, Henry Walterson. And don't you ever come back to this house again. And that goes for your friend as well.
But Mrs. Foley...
Come this way, boys.
Smart guy. Now you fixed it. Suppose he hurt us. Suppose he comes and kills us in our beds tonight just to shut us up for keeps.
He wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't he?
Look. My heart froze. In the big bay window of Mrs. Foley's dining room, a little hand pulled the mesh curtain aside. Standing there in the pink light was a little orphan boy. His face was horrible to see. The teeth bared, the eyes hateful, the lips mouthing out terrible words. He was there only a second longer, then gone. The curtain fell back into place.
Hank, I'm going home. I mean, let's get the heck out of here.
Right. I'll call you when I get home, Pete.
Hank and I split. We each ran to our own homes. When we arrived soaking wet and late for supper, we both made the mistake of telling our parents about Mr. Cougar. And as he said he would, Hank phoned me.
We've got to act fast.
Oh, Hank.
I told my dad about Mr. Cougar.
I told my folks, too. You know what he said? Hogwash.
Well, my dad said pretty much the same. But you know what?
What?
He says that he's seen Mr. Cougar, the grown-up Mr. Cougar, living in Mrs. O'Leary's boarding house.
Oh, no.
We've got to act tonight.
But why?
Because why? Because he's going to try to kill us is why. We're the only ones who know, and if we tell the police to keep an eye on him, he's the one who stole Mrs. Foley's money in cahoots with the orphan boy, he won't live peaceful. I bet he just tries something tonight. So, Pete, you meet me at Mrs. Foley's in a half hour.
But, Hank, that's
You
just...
want to die.
Oh, no.
Well, you just meet me there in half an hour, and I bet you that we see that orphan boy sneaking out with the money tonight and running back down to the carnival grounds with it while Mrs. Foley's asleep. I'll see you there, Pete. So long.
After I got off the phone, I ran upstairs and got into my heavy raincoat and put on my yellow fisherman's cap. The wheeze in my lungs and the ache in my body were letting me know that very soon one lousy cold would be coming my way. But my fears of that demon child coming to my window late at night were all the motivation I needed to get myself going. I wished I were as brave as Hank. All our lives, Hank never stopped being the brave one. Everything was all right as long as old Hank was there. Plus, he was counting on me. I climbed out my bedroom window and made my way to Mrs. Foley's. I waited. And waited. But no Hank. I was about ready to give up, go home. And I started to wonder. Maybe that evil little boy visited Hank's house. I felt a chill deep down in the very marrow of my bones. What if...
Pete! Hank! You're all right.
I'm here.
Where? Where are you, buddy? I can't see you.
I'm here in these bushes.
What the heck are you doing in there? Oh my gosh, Hank! Ugh, you're butt naked. Yuck! What gives?
My pop overheard us on the phone, and he sent me to my room and took away my clothes so I wouldn't run away. So I ran all the way like this.
You're crazy. You'll get pneumonia. You dope.
Well, then give me something to wear then. Your pants or your raincoat or both. I'm freezing to death.
Hank.
Come on, hurry.
Oh, jeez. I don't believe this.
Come on.
All right. Give me a sec. Oh. Here. Catch.
Oh, thanks, pal. I owe you one.
Hank.
What?
Look. The phony orphan boy. Joseph Pikes. He's leaving Mrs. Foley's house. What's he carrying in his hand? Looks like some kind of sack.
I bet you $100 that sack is filled with all sorts of money and stuff he stole from Mrs. Foley.
Well, what are we going to do?
We'll not let him get away. It's what we do. Let's get him.
Well, he sees us watching him. He's taking off. Holy cow, is he fast? Look at that little guy go.
Well, we're fast, too. We can get to him.
We chased that rotten boy through the chestnut trees, but he was too fast for us. We chased him up the hill, through the night streets of town, down past the rail yards, past the factories, to the midway of the deserted carnival. The thumping of Hank's bare feet sounded through the town.
Hurry up, Pete. We can't let him get to that Ferris wheel before we do.
Okay. I'm hurrying.
If he changes back to a man, we can't prove anything.
We stopped at the edge of the carnival lot. The Ferris wheel was going up and up into the sky, a big nebula of stars caught on the dark earth and turning forward and forward instead of backward. And there sat Joseph Pikes in a green-painted bucket seat, laughing up and around and down at us in triumph. The little blind hunchback had his greasy hand on the roaring black machine that made the Ferris wheel go ahead and ahead. The midway was deserted because of the rain. The merry-go-round beside the Ferris wheel was still, but its music played on like a phantom orchestra as Joseph Pikes rode up into the cloudy sky and came down each time. He went around, he was a year older. His laughing changed, grew deep. His face changed, the bones of it, the mean eyes of it, the wild hair of it, sitting there in the green bucket seat, whirling swiftly, laughing into the bleak heavens, where now and again a spit of lightning showed itself.
We're too late, Hank. He's changing back to Mr. Cougar. Let's cut and run.
No, we're not too late.
What are you doing?
We can still do something. Here, I got one now. Now you pink up a tent spike too.
You're gonna get killed. We're gonna get killed.
You watch my back. That hunchback may be blind, but he senses we're here. Look, I gotta get closer.
No way. I'm scared.
Let's run up to him and give him a push, and I'll pull the lever when his back is turned.
Hank!
Do it.
The hunchback, he's got me.
Let go of him.
He's
Let go. Let go of him, you freak. I got him in the leg, Pete. Run away.
Hey!
I got the lever. How does this work exactly? Pete!
Got him on the neck with that one.
He's falling on the lever. The wheel is going forward, but now faster.
Stop. Please, stop the wheel.
Stop the ride, Hank.
I don't know how.
I beg you, boys. Stop the ride.
Hank!
I'm trying.
Stop, please.
He's getting older and older.
Come on, stop!
Stop.
I think the motor just died. The wheel is slowing down.
I think we're too late.
It's getting slower. It's about to stop.
Mr. Cougar! His seat is coming down. It's stopping. Look!
The wind touched and moved the black wooden seat in a gentle rocking rhythm, crooning over the occupant in the dim carnival light. A rotting skeleton sat there, terrified, bulging eyes still in its sockets, a paper bag of money clutched in its hands, a brown derby hat upon its head.
And now to perform the old Appalachian lullaby, Ba Ba Black Sheep, is the wonderful Ms. Martina DaSilva.
Black sheep, where do you leave your lamb? Way down in the valley. Birds and the butterflies are fluttering by. Poor little thing crying, Mammy. Black sheep, where do you leave your lamb? Way down in the valley. My mother told me before she went away to take good care of the baby. But I went out to play and the baby went away, and the poor little thing crying, Mammy. Black sheep, where'd you leave your lamb? Way down in the valley. My mother told me before she went away to take good care of the baby. But I went out to play and the baby went away, and the poor little thing crying, Mammy. Black sheep, where do you leave your lamb? Way down in the valley.
And now, if you'll indulge me just a bit, my dears, before we part this evening, I would like to recite for you this chilling bit of verse of childhood anxiety. It's called The Night Wind by Mr. Eugene Field. Have you ever heard the wind go, "Hew"? 'Tis a pitiful sound to hear. It seems to chill you through and through with a strange and speechless fear. 'Tis the voice of the night that broods outside when folk should be asleep. And many's the time I've cried to the darkness brooding far and wide over the land and the deep. Whom do you want, O lonely night, that you wail the long hours through? And the night would say, in its ghostly way, You. My mother told me long ago, when I was a little tad, that when the night went wailing so, somebody had been bad. And then when I was snug in bed, whither I had been sent, with the blankets pulled up round my head, I'd think of what my mother'd said and wonder what boy she meant. And who's been bad today? I'd ask of the wind that hoarsely blew, and the voice would say in its meaningful way, You. That this was true, I must allow. You'll not believe it, though. Yes, though I'm quite a model now, it was not always so. And if you doubt what things I say, suppose you make the test. Suppose when you've been bad someday and up to bed or sent away from mother and the rest, suppose you ask, who has been bad? And then you'll hear what's true. For the wind will moan in its ruthless tone. You. And that concludes tonight's program. We do hope that you have enjoyed it. Let's continue to have a big hand for our wonderful cast. Ms. Courtenay Cholovich. Mr. Brian Wallace. Mr. James Rieser. Mr. Daniel Graves. Ms. Stephanie McElroy. Mr. Michael Pate. Mr. Eirik Davey-Gislason. And Ms. Martina DaSilva. Our musical score was performed and improvised by the fabulous Mr. Steve Blanco. Our amazing sound effects engineer was Mr. Greg Russ. Our show was written by Mr. Silbin Sandovar and Mrs. Rebecca Graves. It was produced by myself, Mr. Daniel Graves, and Mr. Gustavo Rodriguez. Eternal thanks to fantastic BAFTA award-winning composer Jason Graves for our chilling theme music. You can follow him on the Twitter at JG Music and find him on Facebook by searching for Jason Graves Music. Special thanks to our amazing staff here at the fabulous Slipper Room. Now, folks, for all things Fireside, be sure to sign our mailing list. Follow us on the Facebooks, the Twitters. We'll be announcing our new website and podcast very, very soon as well. We return to the Slipper Room for a special Halloween show, Sunday, 26th of October at 8 p.m. Mark your calendars. Our theme, masks and disguises. Tickets are on sale now at slipperroom.com. Don't miss it. Now, my darlings, even though most of us may have confronted or even conquered some of our earliest fears, I should still remind you that on your way home this very evening, you are never too old that you mustn't mind the shadows. Good night.